In 2008, one of the most hated companies in the world was just 90 days away from complete bankruptcy. Its stock collapsed from $75 to a pathetic $1. Analysts mocked it, and fashion critics celebrated the death of the ugliest invention of mankind. It seemed the joke had dragged on and finally come to an end. But today, Crocs is a multi-billion-dollar empire whose growth rate scares giants like Nike and Adidas. How did foam rubber garden clogs that everyone swore they would never wear become the ultimate status symbol of Generation Z? Welcome to the In-State channel. Today, we'll break down the story of the greatest corporate resurrection and learn how to turn ugliness into a billion-dollar marketing weapon. Chapter 1. An accidental hit and a fatal mistake. The story of Crocs didn't begin in Milan fashion studios, but on a boat in the Caribbean Sea in 2002. Three friends were looking for the perfect footwear for yachting. They came across a material called Crosslite. It wasn't rubber and it wasn't plastic, but a unique closed-cell resin. It didn't slip, didn't absorb odors, was incredibly light, and, crucially, didn't sink. When they presented their first batch at a trade show in Florida, they had only 200 pairs. They sold out instantly. The founders didn't care about aesthetics. Their motto was simple: function over form. By 2006, Crocs had pulled off the loudest IPO in the history of the footwear industry. Money poured in, the company bought up factories and expanded at a breakneck pace. But hidden inside this success was a ticking time bomb. Crocs were too good. They barely wore out. Customers didn't need to come back for a second pair a year later. To maintain growth, the company began flooding stores with millions of pairs that nobody was buying. Chapter 2. The Great Crash of 2008. When the global financial crisis hit, the Crocs bubble burst first. It turned out the company was sitting on $200 million worth of unsold inventory. The stock became trash. The Washington Post wrote, "Crocs are just a fad that has run its course." The company was considered dead. In 2009, they were forced to shut down most of their factories and lay off thousands of employees. The brand became synonymous with bad taste for weekend gardeners. It seemed Crocs would forever remain on lists of the worst inventions of the 21st century, alongside the Segway and Google Glass. But it was at this very moment of desperation that new leadership arrived with a radical plan. Chapter 3. Marketing Judo. Embrace your ugliness. The new CEO, Andrew Rees, realized one crucial thing. Attempts to make Crocs beautiful by releasing ballet flats or leather shoes had failed. The world knew them as ugly clogs, so that ugliness had to become their main advantage. They did two brilliant things. The first was gibbets. These little charms for the holes turned the shoes into a canvas for self-expression. In the age of Instagram and TikTok, the ability to make a product unique is a goldmine. The second was the cultural shock strategy. Crocs began collaborating with the last people anyone would expect to see paired with rubber clogs. Christopher Kane, Balenciaga, and then Post Malone and Justin Bieber. Every collaboration was absurd. Crocs on a massive platform for $850? Crocs with a KFC logo and the smell of fried chicken? This enraged the haters and sparked manic enthusiasm among young people. They leveraged ironic consumption. People bought them as a joke and then realized they were the most comfortable shoes of their lives. The irony disappeared, but the loyalty remained. Chapter 4. The Pandemic and the Triumph of Comfort. When 2020 arrived, the world changed forever. Office suits and uncomfortable shoes were no longer needed. Sitting at home in isolation, people wanted only one thing: comfort. And here, Crocs were perfectly positioned. While other clothing brands were going bankrupt, Crocs' sales skyrocketed. Generation Z officially claimed them as their own. Why? Because Crocs are an anti-trend. In a world of perfect filters and fake gloss, wearing deliberately strange and comfortable shoes is a form of honesty. It became a symbol of not caring about other people's opinions. By 2021, the company's revenue reached a record $2.3 billion. Finale, the main lesson of branding. The story of Crocs isn't about shoes. It's about resilience and understanding your identity. They didn't try to change to please the world. They simply waited for the world to change and understand them. Today, Crocs are no longer a joke. They're a case study taught in business schools. They proved that if you can't be beautiful, be unforgettable. If your product evokes strong emotions, even if it's hatred, you have a chance to build an empire. The main thing is not to be afraid of being strange in a world that demands perfection. If you enjoy stories about brands that come back from the dead, subscribe to InState. We tell the stories behind the logos. See you in the next video.